So when I was probably, child, not really toddler, but in that kid phase, growing up when I was just, probably what, like 2 feet tall. Um, the first game I actually really actually sat down and tried to play, it was kind of jumpy because I was going from being outside to indoors. Because back then in my town we kind of lived in like one of them kind of older story houses. It was kind of like 3 stories, but it was like kind of like fancy. It's kind of like going into Willy Wonka's chocolate factory because we had the garage and then we had a room on like the side part from like inside the house. So through this, we kind of made this room into our kind of youth get together room. So there was like we had like a little TV and then we had a pool table and all this other stuff. So I sat down. The first game I actually really played was a game called Star Fox. It's like for the Nintendo 64. And the whole game, you basically kind of weaving in and out, trying not to rock it. Then you got the whole freaking dialogue down, like that game Star Fox, how they kind of talk. So it's like basically that was basically the first game. But then later on, as I grew up, there was like one of my mom's friends discovered something and called her up or whatever. Like there's this arcade machine that we might like. And I don't know the whole idea of getting that because, it was pretty nice. And I'll probably do a video of that, probably some other day, probably in a few days or something like that. So I want you guys to actually prepare for that too. So there was this thing. It was like in like how some pawn shop type things, people open up pawn shop, thrift stores, have useless shit, but then they have that over the price shit that people come in and be like, hey, this is pretty cool, but can't afford it because the shopkeeper don't really want to actually you know work something out because the game itself was actually worth over 1,000 and some change back then. Because back in the '90s, things were cheapish, but people were outrageously kind of fucked up in the head. Just so it's like my mom was able to get this machine for a good 1,000 or something. So we got that. The movie people they brought it, so we put this in our entertainment, get together, youth room or whatever. And we would, we all gathered around at first, like, oh my God, this is cool, this is cool. We had to actually, vary it because we had to take turns actually playing it. So my favorite game on there was a total of 12 games. Apart from on top of it, how some arcade machines will say they got certain games on there, but they really don't. It's just that eye candy type stuff. Kind of clickbait type shit. And so I was originally wanting to play the Ninja Turtle game that was on there, but it wasn't on there. So there was this game I was kind of going through the list. There was like this little ninja thing, kind of looked like a little, freaking foggy type thing, kind of like characters will literally look like this on the game, and it's like, so it's like I was playing this little thing, it was like this little shooting thing, you like go around the platform, it's more like a virtual retro type thing, you shoot things, kind of platform type shit. It was a platform based game, really. It's like one of them like older, not exactly Super Smash Brothers, but it was like older, platform type games, sort of like Super Mario type shit. And this game was kind of cool, but the thing is, I could never get off like probably like the first segment of the game. Now I can actually play a game and actually play through it. Not all games are like that. I could sit here clickbait and talk crap saying I can do anything, beat anybody, but I can't because I'm a novice when it comes to the new games. That's why I'm actually trying to get into the stuff so I can excel into some of the stuff I'm actually doing. So apart from that, let me kind of so I after that era of that, we had, started, gaming, the gaming console started, enhancing, technology started, developing, they started releasing new things. So we were at, my old daycare provider. She got me the whole Sega Genesis, like this big, bulky, freaking Nintendo Switch type shit. So the game on there was kind of called, it was like you play as a star, and it's another like platform type game. I played that a lot on there because it was like it had the big bulky car just type shit. It was like a star. So I played that for countless days, and I never beat it. But I was more into back then. You see some like a shitty ass fucking like old Star, like sort of like Star Fox type shit. You see that shit back then, and you're like, oh my god, these are the best freaking graphics ever. And now if you look back on it, you're like, what the hell is this? And it's like, so as that progressed, I played this thing a lot, and then after that, gaming started developing again. Kept going into another era. So after that, I started playing. I got it was a Christmas, so that's when the Nintendo DS started coming out. None of the DS, newer, like not newer ones, but at that time, kind of newer like models or something like that. So after that, I got this Nintendo DS, and it was claiming to be a like special edition because it had the Yu-Gi-Oh and some of the kind of legendary Pokemon integrated into it. Because the games that came with it was the Pokemon, the Pokemon shit. It was the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. That's what it's called, Diamond and Pearl. And I had the Diamond version, so I played that a little bit. Didn't understand shit of it because I'm not really, that strategy type game like my brother was. Because my brother, he was into, the strategy Pokemon, freaking, he could actually play like Pokemon like he was freaking playing like World of Warcraft or like, at the time, some other things, we're gonna get into that. So, I was playing this thing, to me, I just like the adventure, concept of it, Back then I never understood, the action to adventure, to all these other, genres, gaming and stuff like the titles of them, like subject of it. So, I kind of, just played it, just, figuring out, I see this little dot kind of running around, see kind of Pokemon popping up. I just like the, detail, like when you run into like the little grass, the little beeping sound or whatever kind of drove me crazy, and I was happy for it. So, so after, that little thing went on for a while, got bored of it, because it just wasn't, interesting. So after that, it's just like, initialed into my brain, it's like, I'm looking for something new. So it's like, I pushed myself to actually understand, more and more and more. And I started, doing my, research on games and stuff, back then, I didn't have the internet, I had the internet, but it was like a bulky typewriter looking thing. But so after that, I started to, get into, that's where initially my whole computer type mindset started coming in. I wanted to, I was a computer genius, I wasn't no mathematician, but it's just like the concept of a computer just amazed me. It's just not how it is now. Because if I would have had what I have now, I would probably flip the fuck out. I'd probably be like, never leave my room or some shit. But it's like, after that era, I began to think more outside the box. I started to think more, hey, I'm a nerd, I like this shit, I just, I hated going outside, I didn't really care. So after that, me and my brother, we in the room, just kind of playing around, playing with some toys or whatever. We had the little fucking all the like cool little Batmobile toys and stuff like that. Cause he like Batman, and I like just stupid little anything really, anything I can get my hands on. So it's like my mom comes in the room, asks me. That's when they were coming out with the PlayStation 2 or the GameCube, I think it was at that time. Cause she saw it in like one of them Game Informer magazines or just some magazine. Like, I think it was like a Target magazine or some shit. And she seen that in there, and she asked us like, would you guys like a PlayStation 2 or would you guys like a GameCube? So me and my brother, we looked at each other, was like, PlayStation seems fun. So we decided to go with the PlayStation. So after that, we got the PlayStation for like Christmas or whatever. But me and my brother, we argued to who gets to play what, keeps play what. I was young, so most of the games we played on there, I would just play with them. I was able to like actually play and get into most of the games on there that were like probably like the old Naruto games, or because back then I was like kind of a anime fanatic. Even though I was young, I like stupid animes like freaking Pokemon, and then I liked, it was probably like Digimon or any of the other cool little animes they had back then. More like cartoons that describe themselves as anime, like Teen Titans or some crap. And I played those games. So my brother, when I was just couldn't beat him, he somehow grinded out the game and beat it somehow. There's actually been a handful of games I actually beat myself, but they're more retro type, old school PlayStation 2 Tomb Raider. There was the Morrowind. I had the old what's it called, the Finding Nemo. That was actually the crap. Hold on for a second. I gotta breathe. All right, so I had to change things up. So it was like, there was like this thing, like when you jump on a little jellyfish thing, that kind of strained the hell out of me. So that was pretty much that. There was a whole handful of stuff, but I'm not really gonna sit here and make it 3-4 hour long freaking example of what the hell I'm doing. I'm just trying to go bounce, give a little detail into like things I've played. So it's like I'm gonna fast forward over some stuff, but later on, futuristic wise, when I was in like middle school and stuff like that, I had the Wii. You guys all understand the Wii and shit like that. So I had the Wii. I had finally got my hands on the Xbox 360 back when it was like coming out, not really coming out, but later on, went on sale. Not really sale, but when I was able to get it at a decent, kind of get a little scumbag, do my mom did all the work really, but did that. Pretty fun. I enjoyed it a lot, because it was my first actual online type, multiplayer, community type stuff where I actually interact with people. So it was like I felt like I was basically anonymous, online hackers type stuff. It's like some of it just felt real to me, to be able to communicate with people and play and shit like that. And that's where the whole concept of me coming into computers, I like that whole online thing where I can communicate with things and stuff like that. So then the computer stuff started coming. I started playing like stuff like Wolf Quest. I played World of Warcraft. I played Mugen. I played a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff just started opening my eyes when the computer came out, because they had the emulators. I could play anything if I actually knew how to do it. So it's like a lot of the stuff I did on there kind of got me in a lot of trouble. You're young, adolescent, preteen, not aware of what's going on. Girls, on. But you know, that is basically the whole story of that. So now I'm going to go into what created Ruka. Um, it just felt right. I just didn't. People always tease me about why you don't name Ruka. I have freaking people saying Ruka means girlfriend or whatever. Like honestly, if you look up Ruka on Google, it comes up with an anime girl. But I twisted it around and made my own persona. So if you guys want to check out that anime, I watch clips and videos. It's alright, but it's like, it's not like freaking Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho, freaking Hunter x Hunter. And then we got like either Alchemia and stuff like that, and Tokyo Ghoul and all these other good ones. Oh, I forgot one thing. There's Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer, that was actually real good. I like Demon Slayer. But what created Ruka is because, my attitude, I'm really laid back. And, it just, to me, I always had that, creative, outline attitude and mentality, just the idea of a different world, it's just, Ruka to me at the time really meant morally, I don't know, it's just, I was into like Zodiac type stuff and like, I always wonder, I studied to actually understand what my own Zodiac was because before I knew I was born in September, I didn't know nothing about Zodiac. So I started reading like spirit animals and all these other names. And like I noticed like some of these names on like these little, Clash of Titan type stuff, the Warrior game, the Warrior Dynasty type games and stuff like that. It's like these names were like, unique to me because, so I get the idea. So originally it wasn't supposed to be Ruka. It was actually going to be something like, I was thinking about like Lucy and Phoenix. I used to call myself Lucy and Phoenix for a good time, But the thing is, I'm also, so, I thought about demons and stuff like that, that's for the whole Lucy. And then I thought about my favorite, type bird, Zodiac, like Clash of the Zodiac type stuff, I like that whole warrior idea. So I call myself Lucy and Phoenix. So, apart from all that, Ruka just sounded good. That and I watched a lot of Bleach too. Rukia was actually one of my favorite characters. That and I like Grim, whatever it was, Grim Dow, whatever his name was. So it's like I'm gonna kind of twist little things from gaming into the anime here. Thing I hate the most about most people watch the anime and they say that they like the main character. Makes me think, you haven't actually got into the anime and actually watched it for a long time to understand more characters and, their life and, to actually understand, there's more to an anime other than just, the main character that shows up every single episode. You have to watch the adventures and, the people's story. Like Naruto, when I watched it from a kid, it got on my nerves at the same time, but it's like, I got sick and I was in the hospital. And the nurse asked me what I want to do because I was like, only 3 other people sitting in this lobby all night long. I don't know what I was sick of. But it's like, I asked them, like, back then they had Toonami. So I was like, watching, I asked them, like, do you guys know, like, I think it was like 63, yeah, 63. So I was watching that because it was around the time Naruto would come on. And it was during like the Chunin exam type stuff when it was like I wanted to see the fight between Naruto and Neji, but at the same time I just didn't watch it for Naruto. I watched it because the Hyuga type stuff actually I liked it, so it's like I liked the idea of what that was. So apart from that, that's what the whole Ruka, came in, so I decided, back, it was like 2021 when I came up with the Ruka. So it's like I watch all this stuff, play all this stuff, so it's like Ruka, yeah, that fits me. So yeah, that's where Ruka came in. So I'm sorry for talking you guys' ear off, but I just wanted to let this come out, in the right way, so I'm not, jumping around, So I want to thank you guys for watching my content. So those that were expecting a little bit more out of this video, I'm sorry. As I said, all night I spent out. You know how want to do something big, but you just in your head at the time, you got a lot of time on your hands, and talking to you it's late at night, and you're alone. And you come up with all this stuff, but you promise something at that time, so you gotta do exactly at that time. Plus, I just can't run in and out of the house that late at night. I can, I'm an adult, I can do that. But my mom might ask, like, what's going on? Where you going? And So I was like, yeah. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Everyone stay tuned for more. My next video will probably be more, Steam related, because I also have that my HDMI cord plugged into my capture card. Oh yeah, by the way, how I found out about the capture card, I didn't realize what it was until I watched one of Afro Sinju's videos, and he was talking about Elgato. So I wanted an Elgato at the time, but I didn't know there was cheaper ones. So I went on Amazon looking at capture cards and all that crap, and I got a total of 3 capture cards. But right now I'm using the little USB one, so it's easier to use and it's more simple. Click and play, basically, like plug and play, basically. So I plugged it in. That's what I'm using right now. So I want to thank you guys. Everyone, stay tuned for more. This has been Ruka Entertainment. Let's go. Peace out.